From WWL-TV, the spirit of Louisiana, this is Louisiana's news leader, Channel 4's Eyewitness News Night Watch.
We begin with breaking news. NOPD officers are searching for the gunman they say shot a police officer.
It happened just before 9:30 today near the intersection of Cluett and Urquhart Streets. The officer was rushed to a nearby hospital, and a manhunt is now underway.
And Susan Edwards joins us live now from the scene with the latest on this breaking news. Susan?
Well, Mike, Lucy, as you mentioned, it is quite a manhunt out here at Urquhart and Cluett. Several blocks blocked off, just a complete perimeter around the area. Take a look at the scene. This happened about 9:15, 9:20 this evening. A New Orleans police officer shot. We are told he is going to be okay, but at this time, a lot of unknowns. How many times was he shot? What is his exact condition at this hour? We do not know. We can tell you, however, as soon as this happened, New Orleans police came out in full force. We counted no less than a dozen, well over a dozen police officers, sirens blaring, coming down St. Claude Avenue to get to this scene. Police have also asked for help from Jefferson Parish, some air support from them. Military police also very present out here tonight. All of them searching for the gunman. They say he is armed, and they do believe he is dangerous. They've been looking at various places in this several block perimeter. One of those areas, an apartment complex in the area that they have been looking at closely. Also some other areas in this area off of St. Claude. Of course, we do have an NOPD spokesperson on the way to give us the latest information, and if we're able to get that before the end of our newscast, we'll bring that to you in just a little bit. For now, we're live at Urquhart. Susan Edwards, Eyewitness News Night Watch.
All right, Susan, thank you.
And Scott Satchfield joins us live now on the telephone from University Hospital with the scene where the police officer was taken. Scott?
Well, Mike and Lucy, that's right. And similar to what Susie said a little while ago, officers have been rushing into the hospital, of course, trying to make sense of what happened and really find out exactly what happened. We've been out here for about 45 minutes at this point, and of course when we first got here it was really a frantic scene. Officers flying down the street with the sirens blazing, pulling up, of course running up the ramp towards the emergency room, trying to find out what happened to their fellow officer. Now I can tell you that the situation has calmed down significantly, and just a few moments ago some of the public information officers for NOPD walked past us and kind of asked what was going on, and they told us that they think everything's going to be okay. They believe at this point, their early indications, they believe that the officer was grazed in the shoulder by a bullet. So again, at this point they're saying certainly not a life-threatening situation, and they feel a lot better about things, but certainly a lot of work to do. As Susan was saying, a manhunt underway, and of course they're very concerned about what's going on. But again, just to reiterate, they feel like the officer will be okay. So that is all we have to report from here. At this point, if we learn anything new, of course, we'll bring it to you at that point.
All right, Scott, thanks very much. We'll update you again as this situation develops.
Well, tonight, voices of anger and concern over a flood plan that would protect more than 200,000 people. As
Susan Edwards reports, one local mayor says it could end up putting his town and others underwater.
It's a project the Army Corps boasts will reduce the risk for 26 miles of levee. They say by placing a floodgate south of the Harvey and Algiers Canal, about 245,000 residents will be protected from storm surge on the West Bank. But Lafitte Mayor Tim Kerner calls the plan insulting.
What a slap in the face. I mean, half my people are still not in their homes, and here we are talking about building a $500 million floodgate right north of Lafitte, where the water will stop right when it passes the Crown Point area. And it'll stop right there. The tidal surge will rise, and it'll flood out the people even faster next time.
Kerner says this flood wall location would flood Lafitte, Barataria, and Crown Point faster. He points to another Army Corps proposal called Donaldsonville to the Gulf that Kerner says would offer greater protection with a 16.5-foot wall and for more people. He estimates 380,000 residents.
That's a levee project that's going from Lafourche Parish all the way to Plaquemine Parish. And there's 4 alignments. Right now we are pushing, and like I said, I got a letter from the delegation, all of them endorsing the GIWW alignment that has Lafitte, Barataria, and Crown Point in that alignment. And that would put floodgates south of Lafitte instead of at the Hero Canal where it floods out Lafitte.
The current plan brought around 50 people to tonight's public hearing, including Ray Champagne with the 6th Ward Association for Progress.
People's going to get 2 control structures, and we're not going to get nothing in Lower Jefferson Parish. The people that's already been flooded. We deserve an answer.
The Corps says the alternatives are being studied, but their focus for now is on this particular project.
That's a significant improvement to the system and protecting or reducing the risk for 245,000 residents as well as all the businesses along the Harvey and Algiers Canal that contribute significantly to the economy of this country.
I don't think you should be focusing your attention right there. It should be south of Lafitte, where we got the largest shellfish producing area in the state of Louisiana. We're pumping oil and gas to everybody in the United States, but yet you're going to slap us in the face and leave us out and build a $500 million floodgate that you don't really need to build?
Susan Edwards, Eyewitness News Night Watch.
Mayor Kerner says he'll take his fight to Washington if needed. He also has a group studying the negative impacts on Lafitte, Barataria, and Crown Point under the current proposal in hopes of convincing the Corps to table this project.
Governor Bobby Jindal will be front and center on the national stage in just about 2 weeks. He has been chosen to deliver the Republican response that follows President Obama's first address to the Congress. Today, the governor was in Shreveport talking about his plan to improve public schools by beefing up charter schools, toughening discipline standards, and implementing better testing. The governor also talked about the theme of his address that he will be delivering to the nation on February 24th.
We should be working together as Americans first, look for every chance we can to support the president. Now, when we disagree on principle, we need to stand up and offer alternative solutions. And I still believe that. I don't agree with everything that the president has done, but he's our president.
Governor Jindal says his address will include his opposition to the massive stimulus plan and what he calls government-run health care. Governor will address the nation February 24th, right after President Obama's speech.
Members of a state board working to keep the Saints and Hornets in New Orleans are poring over ways to make that happen.
They met today to figure out exactly how the state can pay the huge tab that it owes both teams. Scott Satchfield caught up with the fans at tonight's Hornets game who are paying very close attention to this situation.
It's a common sight before a Hornets game. Fans crowd the area just outside the New Orleans arena, a chance to let loose and have fun. But there are concerns after state leaders announced they'll fall well short of the payment they owe the team. Some wonder if the problem could put the Hornets' future in New Orleans in jeopardy.
I don't think the town can take another heartbreak like it does.
It's emotional because if they're not here, what do we have to look forward to? You know, who can we depend on? Who can we rely on? And who can our children look up to?
Today, the state board working to keep the Hornets and Saints in New Orleans met to brainstorm new ways for the state to pay what the contract says it owes. Right now, officials with SMG, the company that manages the Superdome and New Orleans Arena, say the deficit is at $27 million.
We have a flawed structural model. Our business model is not correct. The obligations that have been passed on to the LSED do not have the revenue streams to support the obligations. It's that simple.
The current model revolves around the hotel-motel tax, which these days isn't bringing in enough cash. Combined with the poor bond market, there's simply not enough money to pay the Saints and the Hornets for the fiscal year ending in 2010. Local leaders say the only solution is to create new tax revenue or to hammer out new deals with the teams.
And we've had good meetings. The Saints, there have been good meetings. The Hornets, there have been good meetings. People understand we're in a tough recession right now. Times are tough, and we're looking for ways to do it differently.
Some fans are begging for a quick resolution to remove the dark cloud of uncertainty that seems to keep hanging over both of the city's major league sports teams over the last couple of years.
The last thing that we need is to lose, your basketball or your football team.
Scott Satchfield, Eyewitness News, Night Watch.
Some other ideas to improve the revenue stream focused on improving seating at the Dome and possibly adding new suites at the Dome as well. LSED members say that they are very confident that the teams will not threaten to leave town.
In Tangipahoa Parish tonight, state police are investigating a hit-and-run fatal accident. It happened after 6 o'clock on LA 22 at the intersection of CC Road. 45-year-old Guy Hennessy was driving a 2002 Saturn sedan when he ran into a ditch. State police say he was trying to flag someone down for help when he was struck by a light-colored pickup. He died on the scene. Troopers are searching for the light-colored pickup with damage to the front end. If you have information that can help, call Troop L at 985-893-6520. The Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office has released the identities of the driver and passenger involved in a deadly single-car accident on Lapalco Boulevard this afternoon. The passenger, 20-year-old Alex Allen, died in the crash. The driver, 18-year-old Jeremy Rimmer, suffered several injuries and is in critical condition at a local hospital. Investigators say Rimmer was driving this white Camaro west on Lapalco when he lost control and ran into a utility pole. No one else was injured.
The Metairie mom who police say threw her newborn baby into Lake Pontchartrain is in the hospital tonight, but she will soon face a first-degree murder charge. Police say that 21-year-old Ciara Craig hid her pregnancy from her family and even tried to have an abortion. According to investigators, the young woman threw the infant girl into Lake Pontchartrain in a fit of despair shortly after she gave birth to her. The Jefferson Parish Coroner's Office completed an autopsy on the baby this morning, but it is still waiting on some test results to determine the exact cause of the baby's death. Police Chief Steve Caraway says that Craig admitted that the baby was alive when she tossed her into the water at the Kenner Lakefront.
The baby was moving. The baby was, by her accounts, was alive, moving. The legs were moving. The heart was beating. As recently as her, and she described it as placing the child in the lake. She had her hand on the baby's chest and said she could feel the heart beating at that point.
Today, in the times that we're living in, there's so many things that's going awry. All I know, she was raised right. She brought up in the church. And why, I can't answer.
As of late this afternoon, Craig was still at University Hospital. When she is released, she will be transferred to the Jefferson Parish Prison. This recent incident has now prompted a push for public awareness about the safe haven law in Louisiana. The Department of Social Services says that you will soon see the billboards, the brochures, all of them explaining the plan, as well as a new radio campaign. State officials may also expand the plan from hospitals, clinics, fire and police stations to include churches. Under Louisiana law, a parent may leave a child up to 31 days old at the designated facility without the threat of prosecution. For more information about the safe haven law, log on to our website, WWL-TV.com.
FEMA's new flood maps are causing a stir in one North Shore neighborhood.
Coming up, what the new maps mean for homeowners.
And the storm system that brought us our rain is out of here, but there's another one coming. I'll tell you when in our Pinpoint forecast.